Welcome to Take Me With You, episode 14. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Cheryl. We are two well-traveled people who want to go everywhere.
But that's not going to happen. So instead, we'll travel vicariously by inviting a guest to share their unique travel stories with us.
Today, we are talking to Ashley. Ashley is a science teacher in the Seattle area. She lives in Baja, Washington. And we're so excited to have you, Ashley. Also, apparently you work at a winery on the weekends. What? That's a fun weekend job. Let's just talk about that.
I like to stay busy. What can I say?
That's so fun. What do you do at the winery?
I pour. I'm a tasting room associate is my official title.
Oh, fun.
I even have official cards now.
Ooh, so you just get to talk about flavor a lot pretty much then?
Yeah, which is super fun. I really love it.
Nice. And then something about science, but that's whatever.
There's the chemistry piece is actually really cool, so.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's a good point.
Man,
Good
it's
point.
me and two science teachers.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be fun.
Okay. So, Ashley, how much traveling have you done? Is this a pretty frequent thing for you?
No, this has been something that's been more new in my adult life. I didn't grow up traveling or anything like that. My significant other, he grew up traveling, and so it's something that he wanted to keep doing. And so I've done more since I've known him than ever before.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. How fun. Well, it's always good when us travelers can introduce new people into traveling and everything. That's awesome. Yay. Well, we're so happy to have you today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Yay. So we like to start with a kind of a standard set of questions just to kind of get to know kind of your travel-ness and what you're into with travel. So let's just start with, why do you travel, Ashley?
I like to experience all the cool stuff that the world has to offer. I grew up in a tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, New York, where there wasn't a whole lot to do. And so getting to see all the cool things that the rest of the planet has to offer is super exciting. I like doing things. I like being busy, obviously.
Yes, you do.
Awesome.
And so it's fun to do new things. I'm not the kind of person who goes and sits on a beach for a week. When we go somewhere, we're go, go, go. It's crazy, and I absolutely love it.
So are you a big itinerary person then?
Me? No. It's definitely Jason, my other half. He's more likes to have the set plans. I'm more I will get there and figure out what we're going to do kind of person.
Okay, so he comes up with a plan, but then you're really happy when it's a busy plan?
Yes, totally. And I
Gotcha.
He makes me pick some things too. So we end up having things that we both want to do on a trip. And when I go out by myself, I traveled with my girlfriends this past summer, and we all pick things that we want to do and find things, some of it ahead of time, some of it during the trip. So we always have a bunch of stuff planned. It just depends on if we planned it ahead of time or not.
Cool. How fun.
Do you like the planning part of travel, or would you rather just kind of go and do?
Yes and no. I like the planning because it gives me lots of things to be excited about. So oh my God, we're going to do this thing, and we're going to do this thing, and it's amazing, and it also reduces the stress. On the other hand, I am not an organized person, and so that whole planning part, is kind of dull for me. Even if it is exciting stuff, once it's planned, it's exciting, but the actual doing it, trying to do I'm not a research person. Jason loves to research every little aspect of everything and find the best everything, and I'm like, ooh, this one looks good enough. Great. So
it sounds like you and Jason are probably really good travel partners then, if he likes the planning, and then you're just like, yay, make the fun things happen.
Yes, actually. It's a very good point.
Awesome. That's cool.
So I wonder, would you ever take it to the extreme and have somebody else completely plan something out?
Ooh.
And you would not know what you're doing the whole time? Would that be something you would enjoy, or would that actually stress you out and you're like, no, I don't want to do the planning, but I want to know the plan.
Have a say.
Oh, go without knowing what's going to happen? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or a surprise trip.
I actually think I feel like it would stress me out, but I'd also like it. I'm a person of contradictions. What can I say? Yeah.
I feel you. Yeah. For me, I think it would depend on the trust level with like, okay, so who's planning it and how well do they know me?
That's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if it's someone who thinks that I like to lay on a beach for a week, then that would be really sad. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So what is your number one travel tip, Ashley?
Ooh. My number one travel tip, safety pins. I've learned
You're
this.
going to have to explain more about that.
Bring safety pins. And I only just learned this last year.
That's your number one travel tip.
No,
Yes.
I feel like you need to explain the story behind this. How did you learn
It's a
this?
little embarrassing, to be honest. Well, so my friend's wedding was last October. And I, of course, do everything last minute. So I got the dress tailored last minute. And I didn't get the strap, or the strap properly altered, and it was really loose, so we were trying to figure out how to tie the straps to my back so that the dress actually looked good, and safety pins won the day.
Okay, that sounds like a wedding tip, though.
But I keep them now with me all the time because I end up finding other uses for them, like various, like if I didn't sew my pants, usually it's me not prepared. I didn't hem my pants. Like when we went to Iceland, I hadn't hemmed my new Eddie Bauer pants, and so I brought safety pins to hold my pant bottoms, my pant legs up, to like roll them up, so that way they weren't tripping under my feet. So safety pins, that and nail clippers.
All right.
Okay.
Why nail clippers?
Because you can use them as scissors in places where you're not allowed to carry scissors.
Oh. These are pretty good packing tips.
Yep.
I'm into this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's from
So
Jason's
I feel
dad.
like I need a little bit more information then. How many safety pins is the proper number to bring with you?
As many as you want. I carry
Just a suitcase full of them. That is all you need to pack. You make a dress out of safety pins. You wash your face with safety pins.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Oh.
No, I say probably like between 5 and 10.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So
Cool.
I don't think that will break the try to put everything in a carry-on. I don't think that'll be too many to break that ability. I think that
will
is
say
doable.
I do not currently travel with safety pins. I do travel with nail scissors, but not safety pins. So I might add that to my packing list in the
You
future.
need to start.
they're good emergency.
Yeah.
I realize they're a good emergency item. Just like some people
There you
travel with, what is it, duct tape, safety pins.
Oh, sure.
So
Good point.
There you go. Man, we're learning
Awesome.
so much.
That's the whole point of this, right?
Yeah. Just us learning. That's it. That's the only
Yep.
reason we're doing this.
Well, it's definitely about us because
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. All right, Ashley. So, what trip are you going to tell us about today?
my trip to Mexico this past summer.
Ooh.
And Ashley, what makes this trip so special? Why did you pick this trip
Because
compared to all of
she
the trips
laid
you've been
on
on?
a beach for a week,
Right.
clearly. So, yeah.
Right. You're going to tell
I've
us
been
about all the
listening,
best
guys.
beaches.
There actually was a beach, but no. So
There was a beach.
it was a super unique trip. It wasn't like a regular. It wasn't like a spring break trip to Mexico or something like that. It was an adventure, really, truly an adventure, involving small 6-person airplanes, involving hour-long boat rides to get.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, to get to this little strip of yurts on this beach in a bay where we got to do all kinds of things, including the penultimate thing, which was snorkeling with whale sharks.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
I'm so
also
jealous.
terrifying,
So-
but that sounds
Oh
really
my god,
cool.
it was. I have some pretty good terrifying stories. Yes.
All right, so why don't you start at the beginning? Where did even the idea for this trip come from, and how did you make this thing happen?
So I'm super fortunate in that Jason's parents travel all the time with companies, and so they had actually traveled with this company before during the gray whale season. And so this was something that they wanted to come back and do with the whale sharks, and they invited Jason and I to come along with them. So
Wow.
we all went and we met in San Diego, and which was also cool because I got to go to the San Diego Zoo, which I had never been to.
Oh, fun.
It was super fun, and the safari park is fantastic. But we all met there, and then did a little bit in San Diego, and then we took these. Literally, there was 2 planes that hold 6 people each. One of them being the pilot. So it was the pilot and 5 people in the plane.
Oh my God! I don't think I've ever been in a plane that small.
I was terrified because I don't like flying to begin with, so I was really scared. But it turns out it was fine. And the pilot we had used to be a stunt pilot.
Oh, what? Did he do some tricks for you?
He did, actually.
What? While you were in the plane?
At the end of the trip, he did a flyover of our camp.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So we took these little...
Boy.
It was crazy because we got these little planes, and then we flew for like an hour and a half, and we had to stop at customs in this... I can't remember the name of the town. Shoot. There's a little town, which the customs is just this building in the middle of this like small airstrip, and that was it. And you go into this building and you do your declaration and all that kind of stuff, and then we hopped back in the planes for another hour and a half to get to Bahia de Los Angeles, which is where we caught our boat. This guy was supposed to... The best part is when they get to Bahia de Los Angeles, they had to fly the planes over the town to wake up the guy who was supposed to come pick us up in the van.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So he hears the plane, and then he comes to pick us up in the van, except it wasn't him. It was like his grandson or something. And so all of us were like,
goodness.
That's not the guy that they described. Oh my gosh, what's happening?
This sounds like
meanwhile,
a movie.
when we landed, the Mexican military comes barreling around the corner, like literally barreling, like dust coming up, like it felt like a movie. Like it was crazy because they want to check and make sure everyone's legit. So they come and they have these big rifles that they're holding, and as they get out of their whatever Humvee or whatever it was. And so we're all just standing like, oh my god. I really wanted to take pictures, but like no pictures.
Yeah,
I would want to take pictures too.
It was pretty scary, actually. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. They told us it was going to happen, but it's still like watching it happen. It did not feel real.
So you knew that was coming.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being like
Huge
busted
difference.
by the military. Like
Yep, it was crazy.
oh my goodness. What?
Yep. And then
Wow.
the van came to get us, and it was not the guy that was described. So all of us are like, oh my god, is this the right person? Is this the right thing? Like, are we getting kidnapped? What's happening? And
Oh my goodness.
it wasn't. I mean, it was legit. The vans were these old, creaky old vans with Oregon license plates on them.
Oregon?
You know, Oregon, Mexico. We all know.
Right.
Did you take geography? Come on.
No, it was
gosh.
funny. And then they drove us just down the road, and then we got into the little area where the boats were, and they're little, like, I forget what they're called, pongo boats that we took. So we hang around there for a little bit. There's this little restaurant/shop where we could use the restroom and buy a t-shirt if we wanted to. And then we got to the boats, and then we had about a 45 to an hour long boat ride to get to the actual strip of land where the yurts and stuff were.
What?
Yeah. Like, it was an adventure.
So you said to get to the strip of land, was it like an island or like a sandbar?
Like a
It's
peninsula?
like a bay. It was a bay. And so inside the bay was the beach where the yurts are all set up. So there was like one main yurt, which is like the dining room yurt area. And then there's several yurts on either side. And there's electricity and everything there that runs on a generator that generally died around like 2 in the morning every day until the sun came up because it's solar powered. So
Cool.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's neat, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. So who arranged all of this transportation then? Because I heard like
It's a company.
4 forms of transportation? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a company that sets this all up. So we do this all through this company that we traveled with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So they arranged like, then this guy's going to fly over this dude's house, and then he's going to wake up.
Yes.
And then meanwhile, the military's going to come check you guys out for a minute.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
What kind of travel agency is this?
It's just part of the deal there because it's literally just this tiny little town. Like it's not a big
Wow.
city or anything like that. It's on the Baja Peninsula. on the Sea of
That's
Cortez.
so cool.
Yeah.
So how long were you actually like in your little yurt village?
Monday through Saturday
Situation.
We got in
Okay,
on Monday,
so-
Saturday.
That's a nice amount of time. So what all did you do while you were there then?
We were actually busy like most of the time. So every morning we went out fishing at like 6 o'clock in the morning. If you wanted to, you didn't have to go. I didn't go every day, which is cool because the fish that we caught we got to like consume.
Nice.
So talk
That's
about
awesome.
fresh fish.
Yeah.
So good. So we'd go fishing, and then we'd come back for breakfast. So that would be before breakfast, and then we'd come back for breakfast. And there was just this one woman who was the cook, and then she had a couple other helpers in there. And we were so well fed. Our meals were amazing the entire time because it was all like
Cool.
home style Mexican cooking. It was so
Yum.
good.
Nice.
So good. And then after that, we'd go out looking for whale sharks, which we didn't find until our last day, which is a bummer because you're supposed to go out with them every day, and they weren't where they normally were. So, which was super.
So were you like hopping on a boat to go look for the whale sharks?
Yeah, fishing was on a boat. The whale sharks were on a boat, and then we'd go out in the
Okay.
afternoon to do something like, or they'd give us constellation snorkels. So we'd snorkel with.
Consolation snorkel?
Yeah. So
I want every consolation prize to be a consolation snorkel.
So like.
I will lose all of the things if I get to do consolation snorkels.
It was a pretty bay. Like one of them was a pretty bay with you had to be careful where you put your feet because there's a lot of stingrays in the sand. But we were digging for clams, which was actually super fun.
That's fun.
We got to snorkel with sea lions a couple times.
Oh,
What? And they'll like play with you, so they'll like blow bubbles to like play with you. Yeah, it's super fun.
Wait. So did you like touch them?
No.
What do you mean they play with you? What do they do?
They're
Like
interested.
swim around you?
Yes, they're swim around you. They're interested in you. They watch you, and they're like part of the way they play is like by blowing bubbles. So like they'll swim by you and blow bubbles, like playing with you. Yeah.
Like how close did they get to you?
Well, so they made it sound. So the people who described before we went out, he made it sound like they would come right up to you. But I guess the ones that we found were pretty skittish, so they were probably like 4 feet, 5 feet away.
That's so close, though.
That is still really close.
That's
So
cool.
the first time we did this, there's this one place called Sea Lion Rock, which a whole bunch of sea lions live on. So that's
Cool,
where we
great,
went snorkeling
great.
the first time with the sea lions, and it was terrifying because they were all on the rock, and so all of us had gotten out of the boat to go snorkel with the sea lions, and there was only a couple in the water. So our guide, who was also our pilot, by the way, is also your guide for the whole trip.
Oh my gosh.
He stood up and he like clapped his hands and made some like arf, arf noises, and saw a whole like island of sea lions like got up and went to the water, and we're all standing there, and I like panicked. I'm like,
Oh my
oh my god,
gosh.
oh my god. I'm gonna get run
I'm
over
gonna do
by
that
sea
every
lions.
time I see sea lions now. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Just start clapping at them.
And-
I can make sea lion noises. It could happen.
Oh
But
my
it was more
gosh. Okay,
scary. I
so
thought I was gonna get run over by sea lions.
yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so Ashley, you keep saying we.
Yeah.
How many people is this? Is this like because you said 2 6-person planes, one of each of those people is a pilot, so it's 10 people.
10
and
people.
You and Jason and then his parents. So that's 4 of the 10 people.
And then your 6 best friends.
No.
Or new best friends.
Yes. So I am friends with one of them on Facebook. It was a family of 6. It was 2 parents and their 4 grown children. So the kids, like
Cool.
the kids were like around our age. A couple were a little younger, but like around our age. And then the parents, and that was their first time getting together as a family like that in a really long time. So it was
Aw.
Jason and me and his parents, and then this other family of 6.
And that was it. In the whole thing,
That
in the
was
whole
it.
bay, in the yurts,
Well, I mean,
oh
there
my
was the
God.
staff.
That is so
Right, there is-
cool.
Well, right, the staff, sure.
Yeah.
I cannot remember her name right now, which is so upsetting because that cook was so good. But like, so there was the cook and the couple of staff members, and then there was a couple of male staff members that were like the boat drivers.
Cool.
But they also again served multiple jobs where they would drive the boats, but then they were also the people who like fixed the plumbing. Like it was.
Wow.
Everybody does a little bit of everything because
That's
there's
a
only
cool
a
job.
few of them. Like that was pretty much it. There was the 3 guys, our guide, and then 3 females, and that was it.
And it's like a private bay then?
So yeah, it totally is. It's a private beach.
Oh my gosh.
Are you sure you were not in a movie? Because it still sounds like a movie to me.
That's why I picked this one to talk about, because it's so unique.
Of course, if it was a movie, it would either need to be a romantic comedy where she met like her true love, which I think she's already met, or it would have to be like a horror film where something terrible happens. So I think it's good that it's not a movie.
See, I'm picturing like Disney Channel original movie with this type of thing where like the conflict is more just like, oh, the family needs to love each other more or something like very cheesy like that.
I suppose that
you
could
know?
be it too, sure.
Yeah. That's where I'm going with it. Okay, you mentioned clamming. Did you find clams and did you eat them and how were they?
Okay, so we were supposed to eat the clams, but then they accidentally got left out in the sun. And they were no longer any good. So we didn't get to eat those. No.
No.
So
those are not okay.
The consolation prize for that was one of the guys, one of the staff members, who, by the way, was the fearless. There was one of the air conditioners was covered in bees, and he just like stuck his hand in there.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
He went octopusing, and he caught us fresh octopus. So we had octopus ceviche instead.
He went octopusing?
Yeah, he captured some octopus, fresh octopus for us.
Yum.
And we had octopus ceviche for happy hour. So every day afternoon, after our afternoon outings, we'd come back and have happy hour with whatever fresh fish or fresh guacamole plus the best margaritas I've ever had in my life, because they were handmade by this little cute, adorable helper. Oh my God, they were amazing.
I want to be there now. This sounds so great.
Yeah, it was a hard life to live, let me tell you.
Okay, so everything that went wrong, they like gave you some sort of like consolation. So like, somebody left the clams out. Guess I'll go get you some octopus. Or like, oh, I'm so sorry about those whale sharks. Let's go play with sea lions. What is this coming? This is amazing.
Well, I mean, they promised, they promised, the whale sharks, and the whole thing is about making sure that you're enjoying yourself, and so they want to make sure that their customers are happy and want to come back again and that kind of stuff. So because it is a business,
so cool.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we have sea lions, we have clamming, we have whale sharks on the final day. What are these other activities?
We got to capture. You know, they're not hard to capture. Oysters. We got to do some oystering.
Cool.
I don't know if that's a verb, but.
Did you find any pearls?
No, I did not, because we didn't actually shuck them. We just found them, and how you find them is you pick up these little parts, and you have to find them a certain size. And he had this hammer to hammer them off into a bucket, and then they opened them back at the camp. So we didn't actually get to shuck them, but
okay.
We got to eat those. Not many people wanted to try those though. I loved them; they were delicious.
Yum.
But no, most people were too scared to eat oysters. They don't like them. Their texture is hard.
Come on, people. Oh, man. Okay, so you went oystering, clamming, sea lions, whale sharks.
Hiking. We did some hiking.
Hiking. Good.
There's a area where we go hiking through like a cactus field, for lack of a better word. Like big, giant cactuses, which is so cool. And you can hike.
Like the saguaro cactuses? Like the traditional.
Like the big cactuses. And so Jason and I just did one little hike. So from our beach, there's hike up these little mountains. They're not actual mountains, but like a little peak that looks out over the whole bay. So we did that, and then there's another one where you can hike back through the cactus field to this other beach with yurts on it that's abandoned by this rich guy owned it, and he still owns it. However, it's not in use anymore. But this one old man stays there and takes care of it. So we met him.
Whoa.
And this is the part of the movie where you learn about the curse that is over the yurt village, or like
Yeah. Or that's he tells you the cautionary tale that led to that yurt village being abandoned. If you don't appease the whatever, then the same thing could happen to your yurt village. Yep, that's exactly what that part is. You're right, Cheryl.
So the beach dogs hiked with us, because there were dogs that live on the beach where our yurts were. And they...
Like wild dogs?
No, domestic. They had collars and everything, but they just stay on the beach.
They're pets.
Yes, but they're owned by the beach. And so they would hike with us. so they followed us through the cactus. And
Wait, you got like hiking buddy dogs
Yep.
too?
Yep.
Aw.
I think Cheryl needs to rethink her next trip.
I
this
want
is totally
to
worth
cancel
it.
all of my trips and just go on this one. Oh my goodness.
It was awesome.
This sounds rad.
Yep. And then we got to do a hike through some mini mangrove trees.
Ooh.
Like the tide, like you're walking in the water. I got attacked by a crab.
Tell me what you mean by attacked.
Like the crabs are in the sand, right? In like the water that we were walking through. And so I stepped. They tell you to be careful. And at one point, because there's little tiny fiddler crabs, but then there's bigger blue crabs. And I stepped in the wrong place in the sand, and one got my toe.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Yep. But it was so pretty, and then we got to like go on these sand dunes and look out, and there was like, what's so cool is you're like in the middle of the desert. Well, not in the middle, like you're in the desert, but
Sure.
there's a lot of greenery in this particular area because of these mangrove trees. It was
Ooh.
really cool.
That's so fun. Wow. Oh man. And then you finally on the last day saw the whale sharks. So we got to hear about this.
So whale sharks, we got on the last day. So how we look for them is we'd all be like standing up, and some people would be standing on the front of the boats, and you look for just a shadow because they're not like whales that come out of the water. You're just looking for their dorsal fin, really.
Oh, okay.
And so that's hard to see if there's any kind of waves or anything like that. And so there was nothing on most of the days. We didn't see anything in the water. But then the last day, finally, we found a dorsal fin, and we like chased it over this other little bay until finally, like, okay, there's one right there under the boat. And so then we all like jumped in the water, and then of course it went away because it was just one. So we got that in the boat, and then we found it again, and so we all jumped in the water. And they only allow a couple people around one whale shark at a time, just because you have to have a special permit for this and all that kind of stuff for protecting nature. And the good thing is that where there's one, there's generally many because they're feeding. And so when I jumped in the water, Jason's mom was still on the boat, and she's like, Ashley, behind you! And I looked under the water, and it's coming at me.
Oh my gosh!
Like
with its mouth
big
open?
mouth open and everything. Yeah, because they're filter feeders, right? So they just eat that stuff. So they're not like sharks, like when we think of like a great white shark or anything. But it was coming right at me, and I definitely had a little like scream, like through my snorkel, and like had to back swim away from it because they're huge. Like one Jason and I were swimming with, everyone else was with a different whale sharks. Had to be like 35, 40 feet long. It was huge.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bigger than the boat.
Whoa. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I realized they were that big. I knew they were big, but honestly, I was picturing like 10 feet long.
Yeah. No, their babies maybe are like 12 to 15 because there were some little ones that we saw too.
The babies are 12 to 15.
Yep.
That's so cute. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Gigantic.
So they're huge. Wow.
So how
that's
close
so cool.
did you get to those then?
Oh, like right next to them. And then I could have touched them. Like
you're not allowed to,
no,
but you could have.
You're not allowed to, but I could have. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So it was more like trying to stay away, like when they move, even though they're not moving super fast, moving away from them so that they didn't accidentally touch me. They have really bad vision. And so if you accidentally hit them, that would scare them. And their tails, I mean, remember this is like a 35-foot long animal. Their tails weigh a lot and could actually, people have been known to have broken ribs and things like that because when the whale sharks get scared, if they hit you with their tail, that can hurt.
Okay,
Wow.
question from the non-scientist here. Is the whale shark the one in Finding Dory?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because they have the whole thing with her bad vision.
That's Dory's friend.
Where she's
Yeah,
like,
that's the whale shark.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Yep.
All right.
And then just to clarify, to make sure everyone, is a whale shark a whale or a shark?
Ooh, good question.
Oh gosh, why am I forgetting this? It's a shark. It's a shark. Yeah.
I thought it was a shark.
It's a shark. It's a cartilaginous fish. It's a shark.
Oh,
Yeah.
you just said some fancy words.
cartilaginous means it's made out of cartilage instead of bone.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, science people.
Sorry, I had to you totally stumped me on that one for some reason. I don't know why. It's definitely a shark, but it looks like a whale and acts like a whale.
Okay.
Because it's so big and because it's a filter feeder. But do they have baleen also?
No.
Okay.
No, it's
So how are
crazy
they
because their
filtering
mouths
food?
are gigantic. They're just like they just take in all the little plankton and stuff. Yep.
Wow. That's so cool. Were you scared?
When I turned around and it was right behind me, yes. Because there's this giant mouth right there, and then a couple of times, like, you'd be swimming alongside them, and then they decide to turn towards you, and you'd be like, shoot, gotta back up. So, like,
Oh, wow.
the back
Wow.
pedal swimming happened a lot for me. I'm not very graceful
Okay.
in the water.
Wow. So was it worth it, even though it was kind of scary?
Oh my god, I totally do it again in a heartbeat. The whole trip was
Really?
amazing.
Okay. Cool.
And the whale sharks were
Oh,
definitely,
man.
like I said, the absolute penultimate, that's what we were there for. We got to see them, and yes, it would be amazing to go do it again.
That's so
How
cool.
long did you spend in the water with the whale sharks?
Couple hours, I think.
Couple of hours just actually in the water with
I
them.
think so. I think it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours that we were in the
Wow.
water until they went
That's
down
way
too low.
longer than I was
Because they come
picturing.
up when the sun is out. The plankton are there, right? Because plankton do photosynthetic things,
Oh,
so they
that
need the
makes
sun.
sense. Yep.
And so when the whale sharks then come to the surface where the plankton are, and that's when we get to see them. And it also works out better because when they're at the surface feeding, they don't move as fast. And sometimes, apparently, they'll even go like vertical and just like stay in one place and feed. We never got that lucky.
Oh, wow.
But they were moving slowly because they're just feeding on the plankton at the surface. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's so cool. Wow. That's
And
really
so then
neat.
did you get to see them dive too? At some point, like go deeper?
They do go deeper. It was hard. We were in kind of murky-ish water. So, like, we couldn't actually, like, it wasn't, like, super clear. Like, you know, the Cabo San Lucas commercials and the clear water wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was a little murky. But, I mean, when you're just a couple feet away from them, you can see them just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. This is so neat. Was there anything? Okay, you were talking about this food, really good cooking. I'm super into food, so
Which is Cheryl's thing.
we got to get into Cheryl's food corner where we just like talk about all the food we wish we were eating right now.
The food you
what
wish you
was-
were eating right now.
Yes, other than those awesome margaritas, which I'm very jealous of now. What was the best thing you had?
Oh, my gosh. There were so many good things.
Or like, okay, top three. I'll take a top three.
Okay. And, of course, I'm going to forget the names of all of them.
It's all good.
We had one breakfast that was like the hard little flour tortillas and then like beans and then eggs on
A
top of that.
tostada?
And it's called something that I'm not remembering right now.
Maybe a tostada?
It actually has a name, and if I were to say it, you'd be like, oh, I probably heard of that. But I can't remember what
Okay.
it's called. So that was
Okay.
fantastic breakfast.
Yum.
Let's see, what did we have? What was my favorite dinner? They made soup with every meal at dinner, which was actually really good. We had broccoli cheddar soup and like carrot soup. And it was super good.
Nice.
They would give us fresh squeezed juice every morning for breakfast. So like orange juice and mango
Ooh.
juice and carrot juice that was all fresh squeezed.
Ooh, what?
Yeah,
Yum.
so good. And of course the guacamole was absolutely amazing.
Yum.
Yeah, like literally everything was super good. The breakfast I think were my favorite because it was like these traditional Mexican breakfasts that I've never had before. So like
Cool.
real huevos rancheros and like real that tortilla thing. And we even got to make tortillas one night with her in the kitchen.
Fun.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, saltwater tortillas. It was so cool.
Wait, saltwater
Yeah,
tortillas?
they used the ocean water to make the tortillas.
Whoa, what?
Really?
Yeah, for these
I want
ones.
to do that.
Yep.
That's so cool. I've never heard of that before.
And they're really hard to make actually because
Wow.
there's this whole like hand method that you have to do, like flip it back and forth, and it was way more difficult
wow.
than they made it look.
Wow. Oh, how fun. Oh, food.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. It was
Okay,
amazing.
so Cheryl got to ask about her thing, food.
Okay, Ryan, ask
So
about
I'm
something
gonna
about
ask
science.
about my thing, potentially our thing, Ashley, which is the science end. So you are a biology person,
Yes.
right? Jason is definitely a biologist. That's like what he does for his job. But I'm curious, were any of the people there that are part of this whole organization, did they have like a naturalist or anything? So like, could you ask questions if you didn't know information or you wanted to know more detailed information? Did you have access to anything like that?
So it's not there are no scientists or things like that. It's a lot of like the guide obviously speaks Spanish so he can talk to all the employees and stuff. And a lot of what he knows he's just learned from them, and they know stuff just from growing up in the village. So all their stuff is just like knowledge that they know, like the different species of fish and which ones are better for these types of dishes and that kind of stuff. And when it came to like the whale shark, again, it was just kind of knowledge that they had from, I don't know if it was so much that they're given some of that information ahead of time because they guide this trip or whatever. But that's it. No naturalist or anything like that. It's all just like, well, I grew up with this, so this is what I know.
Yeah, no big deal. I just grew up with whale sharks.
I know, right? Ugh.
So they knew a lot more from like the practical living, like this is our environment, as opposed to like specifically like trying to learn about the science of something or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. This sounds like such a good trip. So we have a question for you based on the title of our show. If you could take us with you to just one part of this trip, what would it be and why?
Oh, man. I would want to take people to the part where we actually got into the water with the whale shark. Because that's not something that you get to do. Like, you can go to beautiful beaches all over the world, but to get into the water next to a 35-foot animal and just see there and, like, it's just swimming gently next to you, that is an incredible experience.
That's so cool. Oh, man.
Yep. Next time you go, you'd better take me with you, Ashley.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
I was not invited this time around.
Yeah, I was kind of offended, to be honest with you, but, you know. All right, Ashley, what's your next trip?
My next trip is going to be the Galapagos that I'm going to, with Ryan for school.
That's so cool. Man, you guys have a pretty sweet deal where you're like, I don't know, using students to like pay your way to go around the world or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know,
basically.
something about chaperoning. I don't know.
We're chaperoning.
Yep, because we're teachers and otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Man, I need to become a professional chaperone then. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, how fun. Well, we're going to have you back to talk about this trip. I think the two of you talking about it together would be pretty fun. So
Totally.
Yeah.
We will have lots to talk about, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we will.
Well, do you, Ashley, do you have any travel questions for us?
Oh, fun. Where's the best place you've been to? What's your favorite travel location?
Oh, gosh. Why do people keep asking me my favorite?
Because it's fun to hear.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
And
Okay.
of course, I don't remember what things we've already talked about either.
Okay. I can do a favorite country if that is specific enough for you.
Sure.
Our listeners already know, but I will tell you. My favorite country is Spain. I've been there 4 times.
What? I thought you were going to say Canada.
Oh, that sweet, sweet Vancouver, BC, man.
Hey, I like Vancouver.
It's all about the Victoria life.
No, Vancouver is very cool.
I mean, yeah, Vancouver is actually cool. I love Spain. I think it's because I love Europe and I love Spanish. And so I think that was probably like the initial interest was like the combination of those things. But Spain is just like a fascinating country. There are 17 different regions and they're all distinct. And even some of them have their own language and, such an interesting history and culture and great food and warm people. And, I've been there 4 times too. So I think part of that is like really, I'm sure any country, once you start getting to know that, just like,
Totally.
weasels its way into your heart. And so, yeah, for me, it would be Spain. I'm not going to get more specific than that because I can't pick favorites, but yeah. All right, Ryan, I gave you time to think.
It's so hard because it depends. It depends on the purpose.
Sure.
And I think I may have said this on a previous episode, but like I have a lot of friends in Slovenia and in Croatia. So if I want to go and see people and spend time with people that I know, like that would be a place that those two countries which border each other would be places that I would want to go just because I mean, I've been there several times, so kind of like you, Cheryl, right? Like there's a familiarity and, you know things a little bit more, but also that there's people that I care about who live there, so that's an important part. If you remove the people portion.
Yeah, just for like selfish purposes, what's your favorite country?
That's still really hard.
Or place.
Because it's for totally different reasons. I mean, like the biggest two that I'm battling in my head are London and Venice because they are opposites of each other, right? Like London, there's like a million things to do and it's stuff happening all the time. And Venice is totally chill and there's not even any cars and you just walk and enjoy.
And there's really like nothing to do in Venice. You're just there. Yeah.
And you just get to observe and people watch and just stroll and so I'm gonna sort of not give a real answer to the question.
That's okay. It's a lame question. It's a cop-out question. That's fine.
It's just a hard one to answer.
Well, I have a second question if I'm allowed a second question.
Yeah.
So I'm realizing you probably always get asked, what's your favorite trip? What's your favorite trip? Have you had a disappointing trip?
Ooh.
Right?
Whoa. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think Ryan asked me this in episode 2 when I shared about my travel experience. And I just was saying I always love where I go. And he was like, wait, have you never had a bad trip? And so, like, I would say anywhere I've gone, I'm happy I've gone there and I'm happy I've spent time there. So I think, like, as far as visiting places, that's always been a good thing. Honestly, okay, I'm an optimist. I have my head in the clouds. I think I can do everything and I think I have time for everything. And so I think really, like, the only disappointment for me that comes with travel is like, oh man, I wish I had more time. Like with any trip, I just want more time wherever I am, and so I think I love everywhere I've gone and I would go back to any of those places. And I think it's really like, oh, why do I have to leave? So that would be my optimistic answer.
I was going to say it's a very positive answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I mean, there's one trip that's coming to mind. And it was the one time that I went to Mexico and Mexico's not my thing. Not that I have anything against Mexico. I don't think Mexico is bad. And your trip to Mexico, I think I might have enjoyed.
I was going to say, you didn't get to go snorkel with whale sharks. So.
No, I did not. But, it was a lot. It was not a bad trip. Some of it, I think, was my attitude for the trip because I didn't particularly want to be there in the first place. And so, Cheryl, you mentioned that you are an optimist. I am not. And so I definitely my attitude can affect my experience, right? And I think I was in college at the time. I was like, first couple years. So I was like maybe 19 or 20. And so, a little bit less control over my emotions than hopefully I have now.
That's a mature way of saying that.
So I think it was not a bad trip, but I was there longer than I wanted to be. And there was a lot of sitting on the beach, and that I'm not a big water person. I'm not a big sun person. I'm not a big hot weather person. I'm not a big beach person. So like a lot of the things, and then I think I had to miss school to be there, which on one level is like, oh, that's cool. But like I said, if I'm remembering right, I was in college at the time. And so it was
that's a bigger deal.
I didn't really want to miss school in the first place, because it was like, I really don't want to miss school. So there were just a lot of pieces, but there was one really cool thing. We were there for Thanksgiving, and we got to go out to this island place. I don't even remember what all it was, but it was like, and it had this fancy like tiki torch candlelight dinner thing for Thanksgiving dinner. It was that part was really cool. So I mean, it wasn't a bad trip, but if I had to pick one where I could tell that, like, you know, I was ready for it to be done, that's probably the one that comes to mind.
Wait, where in Mexico and with who?
It was Puerto Vallarta.
Okay.
And it was with my family. It was a family trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Huh. Dude, good questions. Those were wonderful questions. Yeah. You made us think.
You definitely did. You did. Okay, so we're going to move into the last segment of our show called Wish You Were Here. And this is where each of us is going to highlight a travel attraction from all of our travels. So something completely disconnected to what we were just talking about. And Ashley, why don't you go ahead and go first?
So mine is actually from where I grew up, but it's a tourist town, Cooperstown, New York, Baseball Hall of Fame. Yay, sports. I worked in this tiny little place. It even had its address was 136 and a half Main Street.
Oh my gosh, it's like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, it's the Cooperstown Diner.
That's so cool.
So it was my first job that I enjoyed doing. I did it in my last couple years of high school, and I did it through college when I was home for breaks. And I just absolutely loved the people I worked with. It was where I learned to love country music. They have the best burgers and cinnamon roll French toast ever.
Ooh.
Yep. People have heard about this little tiny diner, and they wait outside the door because I think it holds 24 people total. There's 4 tables and 1 counter. That's it. It's this little tiny building. It's adorable and well known, and the food is amazing, and it's great. I loved it.
How fun.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool.
Cheryl, how about you?
All right. Well, mine is also a restaurant. So this is a fun little restaurant stroll through the United States that we're going to take. So mine is in Colorado Springs, and it's this little gastropub called the Golden Bee.
I'm sorry, for someone who's not a foodie, what is a gastropub? Is that actually a thing, or is that just a fancy word that people throw on things to make it sound cool?
I mean, you might be right. It is an old pub. It's a British-style pub in a hotel called the Broadmoor, I believe, in Colorado Springs. It was a number of years ago I went there. So it's old. Your class, I mean, it feels very British pub where you get your fish and chips and it's I'm actually looking at their website right now, and they also have a Reuben, or these different ales and different things like that. But it is such a fun place. Okay, so you walk in and they throw a bee at you.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't see why you need an explanation, but I guess I'll explain it if you need me to. So they have these little bee. They're not stickers. They're kind of like a sticker, but they're very thick, almost like when you get a patch or something, almost like those patches that Girl Scouts get or whatever. You know what I mean? That thick material that's stitched. But it sticks, the other side of it just sticks to anything, so they can throw this thing at you and it just sticks to your clothes. And so everyone just gets a bee.
Wait, hold on. So it's like a patch. So it's flat. It's flat. Yeah,
it's flat.
like a disc or a flat square or something.
It's a little picture of a cute little bee.
But they have to throw it such that the sticky side
It just sticks on you.
licks on you. But are both sides sticky?
No.
So they have to throw it so that the sticky side hits your shirt.
It just happens. I don't know. I mean,
No,
maybe
they would have to
mishaps.
practice to make that happen.
It is so fun. You walk in and they just throw this bee at you, and then you have a bee on your shirt. And so that's pretty
Okay.
fun. I kept my bee for a long time and actually moved it because I could take it off and I put it on a hat, and it just like stayed on that hat for years, and that was very fun. So I got a bee out of the deal. So that's great. And they have live music, and it's like a piano player, and they're like singing songs, and everybody kind of sings along. So it's like that whole like feeling, you know, really good food and just like a really fun hangout place. So I'd say if you're in Colorado Springs, go to the Golden Bee. Let them throw a bee at you, sing a song, have some ales, you know, have some fish and chips, and just like enjoy your night, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
I think that would be the only context in which I would let someone throw a bee
That's what I
at
was
me.
just thinking.
Oh, man. How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm going to break the pattern here. I don't have a restaurant for you all.
Boy.
I'm not a foodie, so
Yeah.
I don't. Those are not usually the places
Can't
that
take
make
you
my
anywhere.
wish you were here list anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they're not. So I'm going to talk about a place from the last trip that Ashley and I took together, which was
cool.
in April of 2018. We took a group of students to Iceland. And I think I've talked about it before for some of my other Wish You Were Here's, but there are just so many things in Iceland that are amazing. And so one of the places that we went, and it was really cold when we were there, but it's a black sand beach.
What?
That is, it's not just like, oh, it's kind of like dark gray. No, it's black.
Cool.
Yeah. Black sand beach near the town called Vik, V-I-K. It's near that town. The name of the beach, I'm going to try to say, and I apologize to any Icelanders who are
Ryan,
listening.
just lean in.
I'm going to do my best. Okay,
Here
so
we go.
I think it's something sort of like Reynisfjara.
Sounds good.
Do you want me to do my like Italian accent with that word, or would that be extra offensive?
You could, except it's not Italian. I promise you that.
Well, I know, but that's just like what I go to apparently. So.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So
how far is it from like major places? Like, what does it look like to get there?
Well, there are no major places in Iceland. No,
Fair,
that's not
okay.
true. That's not true. It's hard to say because we were on a bus that looked like a tour bus type of a thing. It was just our group, but that was driving around, and I don't have a good sense of how far.
Okay.
Just looking online, it seems like it's not very far from Vik, which is a cool like little tiny town. But the other thing that was cool, well, there are several things that were cool. One is that, yeah, it's actually like black sand.
Cool.
Two, that is also where they have what they call the columnar basalts. And it's
What?
so columnar
Sounds
means
fake.
it's in the shape of a column,
Okay.
and
okay, got it.
basalt is a type of rock. It's like a volcanic rock.
Ooh.
So these columnar basalts, so let me describe them. They are big, giant columns. So they are super, super tall, like, I don't know, 30, 40 feet? Is that accurate, Ashley?
The taller ones, yeah.
Wow.
Like super tall, but they're geometric. So they have really, really sharp, I don't know if they were hexagonal.
I think they were hexagonal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
and they have really, really sharp, flat sides, and so but they're these big giant columns, and some of them have like broken off partway down. So you've got some that are really tall, and other ones that are partway there, and whatever. And then they twist and they turn. So some of them are straight up and down, but then some of them like fan out in this.
Wow.
It's super hard to describe, but it was unbelievable, and they were gorgeous, and it's super cool. Like I'm geeking out right with the geology, right? Like the way that they form.
Wait,
because it's
why
like
do they form that way? Can you
Yeah,
explain?
so, and Ashley, please jump in at any point.
Oh, you're way
with
better at
this.
geology than I am.
Well, I don't know about that. But so what I'm remembering them describing is, so they form actually inside the earth. So that it's magma, right? So it's lava when it's out on the surface of the earth, but magma when it's inside.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, it gets separated from its heat source. And so it cools from the bottom and the top. And then it like cools together, and somehow the way that it cools and the rate at which it cools makes it form into these geometric shapes.
Whoa.
And so, and actually, Cheryl, did you know you have columnar basalts out by where you live as well?
No, like the rocks?
Yes.
The rocks at my camp?
Not at your camp, but when you're driving from Natchez up to the camp where you live, up on the, I don't know what side that would be. I've
seen them where they're like those like vertical lines.
Yes.
Oh, that's my favorite part of the drive to town.
Yes. No, those are the same thing. Those are columnar basalts. We have them in Washington State. The ones that are in Iceland look really cooler because you can get right up to them and actually like climb on them. But yeah, it's those same formations. Yeah. So you've actually seen them before, believe it or not.
Wow, that's so fun. Look at what science can do for you. Oh my goodness.
So that's my wish you were here.
That is so fun. Wow, those are great places. Let's go to all of them. Oh,
okay,
man.
You've got my vote.
Yeah. I'm on board.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I definitely need to go on this trip. Can you tell us the name of the company that you went through if somebody else wants to like book this trip?
Baja Air Adventures.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep. I have a shirt.
Very cool. Oh, whoa, then it's real.
It's
okay,
real.
Got it. Still trying to figure out if it was a movie, but if you have a shirt, that sounds more real. So, yeah.
You can get shirts from movies.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. It was awesome to finally hear about your trip to Mexico and swimming with whale sharks, because you kind of have avoided telling me for months.
This is how we can guilt people into telling us about their trips, is by forcing them to be on our podcast. I get it now. Here we go. Good plan.
Exactly.
It's not like we're busy or anything. I had all this free time. I'm so sorry.
No, we have not had a busy fall
No,
at school at all.
never.
Nothing major going on at work. Oh my gosh.
Nope.
No, but it's been great to hear about the trip, and I'm insanely jealous.
Thank you for letting me talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, that's all that we've got for this episode, but we do want to remind you to please follow us on all of the socials at TimWee Podcast. TMWY Podcast. We'll be posting pictures. Ashley shared some pictures with us, so we'll be sure to post some to kind of show some of the cool things from her whale shark diving oyster clam octopus yurt adventure. So make sure you follow us.
Sweet seafood.
Don't forget the beach dog
on all of our socials. Those two.
Oh man, you can also email us at timwepodcast@gmail.com if you want to ask us travel questions, if you want to tell us your travel stories, or whatever else. Talk about travel. Email us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. We'd also love to hear from you with a voicemail message. If you'd like to call and leave us a voicemail message, you can call us at 406-POD-TIMWE. Or if you need those numbers, that's 406-763-8699. You can leave us a voicemail message with a question or a comment, and if it's really good, we might even use it in the podcast.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be amazing? So please make sure that you are rating and reviewing us and subscribing on whatever pod listening thing that you use, especially on iTunes. The rate and review apparently makes us more likely that other people can find us. So we would really appreciate that from you.
Yeah. Also, thank you so much to Beth Morrell for our awesome artwork. You can check her art out at Beth Is Something.
Yay. Thanks, Beth.
Woohoo.
All right, that's it. That's all we got. So thanks again, Ashley, for being here. And
Thank you.
And absolutely. And until next time, remember, take me with you.
Take me with you.